one live stream for episode one. This is like the thoughts, my thoughts on it. So yes, let us just begin. This will be live for everybody. So I thought that live would be easier because then I could just talk about it right now. So let me just tweet this out first. Anyways, here we go. So I watched the first episode. This starting from this morning up until now and like the afternoon. The episode was 2 hours and like 30 minutes. I think that's how much it was. Let's see, how long was this? Yeah, it was 2 hours and 23 minutes. These episodes are long as shit, y'all. That's a full-length movie. So we're just gonna like go through what happened on this episode. So obviously there was some really big dramatic intro. He's just like, it's showtime, and I'm just like, it's ready. We're ready. Like, let's get it. So as per usual, the stage is set for the evaluations to get the rankings of A to X. So the first thing that happens is all the trainees have to enter the room and choose where they want to sit, all this, that, and the third. So what was first a shock and a change was that there was the center, the first place chair, the throne. And then, there's always the other ones. So it was like, and then it went 2 to 10 where the other chairs that were like the chairs of You Made It. So there was only 10. So there was like, oh, it's going to be a twist. It's going to be 10 things, 10 people, We'll get to that. So we'll just begin with everyone that they showed entering. So the first trainees that we saw were none other than Woollim. So the Woollim trainees were first, 6 of them. Honestly, they could have just debuted all 6 of them in their own ass group because that's a lot of members to be sending to a show. Like Woollim and Starship, y'all could have had just like a whole ass new group with those trainees. But anyways, Woollim were the first trainees. They were all like, ooh, let's sit on the first chair. So they did, but then they're like, no, we don't want that. So then they moved down to their seats, which was like in the middle, kind of near the top, kind of not really though. So that was cute. And already we could just tell there's gonna be dramatic edits. It's Mnet. Mnet always loves a good dramatic edit, and they were like, let's start it off right away. So they did. And then after Woollim, it was C9, so that's Bae Jin Young's company, and Bae Jin Young was shown talking to the trainees like, make sure to have a lot of confidence, unlike what I did. And then as soon as they came in, they was looking at all the chairs, and Homeboy was just like, let's sit off to the side. Mnet really loves to do that like hard swallow of nervousness where they just like zoom in and it's just like they love doing that. So one of them was like, let's just sit off to the side, nonchalant, blah blah blah, and the other one was like, no, we're gonna sit here. So they took the seats in the row right above the Woollim trainees. That's what it looked like. After that, it was Maru, Park Ji-hoon's company. It was just 3 trainees that were really young, and we'll get to those trainees when we get to the evaluation. So after that, we showed Yuhaewa, and they're just like whatever, going into it. Sungyoon, he is a unique member, and he's also on like Show Me the Money. He also did some of those songs with like Park Jimin. If you listen to her album, he's featured on one of the songs, I believe. So he's there. And then one of the other trainees from Yuhaewa, Gumrul. You really had to have the most difficult name. This name, if he sticks around, his name is going to give me so much problems like Ueun from season 2. Anyways, Gumrul, he sits in the first seat and he stays there. And then We Entertainment is next. That's Dongwon from season 2, JBJ. That's cool. And then they're also showing like what people wrote, like what places they wanted to get or what grades they wanted to get, and everyone was kind of like C and lower. And then they were like, oh, Stephen Kim, he's the one from Australia. He was the first one that was quote unquote shown that said he wanted to at least get a B. And then after all that and a bag of chips, we see Fantagio. So they sent one trainee, and he challenges Gumrul for the first seat, and they do one armed push-ups, and he ends up winning, so he takes the first seat. And then somewhere along the way, the first seat switches because he's no longer in the first seat, because then one of the trainees from AAPY ends up taking that spot, but that comes on later. And then everyone is like talking about who everyone looks like, and someone was like, the Woolam trainee, Ju Chonguk, I think that his name. They're like, he looked like Aunu, and I was like, yes, he do. And then they have the music label The South come in, and they're like, oh, he looks like Nam Taehyun. Yes. So Nam Taehyun's younger brother came onto the show, so they showed them interacting a little bit, and then, as always, they like to have a little dramatics, like last year, where they're like, YG. Former though. So they did that this time with SM, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, SM sent trainees, and I was like, dumbs, no. If you looked at the text for SM Entertainment, it was real basic, real Microsoft Word. It was nothing like SM's logo, obviously. And then it switched and was like SM Entertainment's modeling agency, Esteem. And one of the trainees from Esteem, Park Yudi, I know him because I follow him on Instagram. He posts some pictures there. And at this point, you know, there's always like the trainees that's always doing a lot of talking, doing a lot of commentary, giving a lot of stuff. So at this point, I kind of got the feeling that like the DSP media trainees were going to be the ones that were going to be like the talkative ones, because in season 2 it was like MMO, and then season 3 I felt like it was the Yuheiwa girls. There's always people that are just like blah, blah, blah. They talk a lot, and DSP, they were talking a lot, and they was giving me my life because they was being real cute. And then they announced 2 new companies that sent trainees onto the show that haven't sent trainees before. So Around Us, which is Highlights label, and then Source Music, which is GFriends, and both of them. So they showed Soan, Shinbi, and Yuju, and then they also showed Kikwan, and they were basically telling the trainees, get all A's. So they were putting a standard. They're like, get it right. And then after that, we get MLD, which people said Momoland. Anyways, they sent Dongbin, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, he's the one from season 2. Yes. So Dongbin, he did chewing gum on the evaluations, and he's the one that everyone remembers was like the big crybaby. So he came, and then brand new music. They sent another set of 4 trainees. It seems like 4 is their lucky number. And then Starship was announced, and everyone was buzzing because I guess in the trainee worlds of K-pop, Starship is a big company. Well, I mean, they are a big company, and they still get a lot of buzz. And also, each season, they've had very successful, highly ranked people. Season 2, no one from Starship made it into the group, but he did rank number 12, so he was almost in the group. Anyways, they sent 5 trainees for Starship, and then it was Jellyfish, and then the music played this very lovely piano music, and Kim Mingyu, Jellyfish Kim Mingyu, he stepped out onto the stage, and everyone was like, ooh, he's so beautiful, he's so handsome. And I was like, duh, of course he's handsome. Like, I have been looking at the photos that have been released, the videos, everything, this, that, and the third. And he definitely struck my attention and my fancy as a very handsome visual member. So that is something. And he's also one of the people that I put in my favorites. So I'll talk about that at the very end, though. And then there were, like, individual trainees. So this time they sent quite a few individual trainees onto the show, and one of them gets a lot of buzz, the Eugene guy, because he was an actor on the insanely popular Sky Castle. So if you don't know, Sky Castle was a drama that aired like towards the end of last year or something, and at the beginning of this year or whatever, something like that, around that time frame. And it got really high ratings, and it ended up being like the highest broadcasted show. So it took the place of Goblin and Reply 1988, which those were the ones that was like the top. Now it's Sky Castle. And then they had Stone Music. So he went up to the first seat and did a rap battle with the AAPY guy who was on the YG Treasure Box show, I think. He used to be on YG. Stone Music, he ends up losing the rap battle, and he goes back to where he came from. And then Music Works, they are My Teen members. I think both of them are My Teen members, or is it just Yubin that's the My Teen member? Anyway, they came on the show, and then they got into the thing of who else from groups came onto the show. So they talked about Victon. They sent 2 members, and Uptension, they sent Wei and Wushin. And when Uptension came into the room, everyone was standing, everyone was shook, everyone was like, ooh. And then, so the atmosphere there was like real intense, like the dramatics was at an all-time high. And then the last peoples they showed was YG and JYP, because they were like, oh shit, YG and JYP. Hey, we're talking about Produce X 101 episode 1 because, you know, I am a crazy person and I thought that it was a good idea to put myself through these emotions all over again. Oops. So the last trainees to enter were YG and JYP. The YG trainees, from what I know, they were on the YG Treasure Box show as well, something like that. So the JYP guy, he goes up to the top seat and they do an arm wrestle, and he takes the first seat chair. And I was just like, yay, okay, JYP in the house. Like, okay, that's cool, I guess. It was really, I could care less. Yeah. Anyways, so after everyone came into the room, they're like, oh, who's gonna be the host? So the host comes out. Lee Dong-wook comes out. He finally enters. Everyone is like, ooh! They're like, he's so handsome. He's the most handsome man I ever saw. Oh my gosh. And you know what? I don't even hate on it because I really like Lee Dong-wook. But I thought it was a little interesting because for the girl seasons, the hosts were the 2 male actors. They were boys. And then for season 2, it was Boa, so it was a girl. So I thought that for the boy season, they were gonna have another girl be the host, but they were like, no, we're just gonna give another male actor. So that was a cool twist. So instead of them being like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty, they're like, oh my gosh, she's so handsome. So that was interesting. I thought that was interesting. So he gives a brief rundown of what the hell the X for Produce X means. So from what I got, they're like, X is unknown, and they were like, how many members are going to debut in the group? And because there's only 10 fancy chairs, everyone was like, it's only going to be 10 people, and he was like, no. It will actually be 11 members to debut, the usual. And then it was like, so it'll be 10 plus X. That was 5, but it was 10 plus X. So the people that place 1 to 10 during the final live ranking announcement will make it into the group, but then the X member is not the person who places 11th. That is not how it's going to be. So if you place 11th place in the final ranking on the last episode, you're not a shoo-in for the group automatically. Basically, they're saying the trainee who gets the highest number of total votes throughout all 4 voting periods becomes the X trainee. But see, this brought up a question to me. Well, okay, so I guess from what this is saying, trainees 1 to 10 that rank in the final live won't be a part of who gets to be X, because obviously I feel like if you're gonna get the number 1 spot, obviously you're gonna have the most votes total out of all 4 voting periods. So I'm feeling like the people 1 to 10 at the very end will be exempt from who gets chosen to be X. That's pretty much what I got from this. It's a little confusing. We'll see how this goes. But, you know, Mnet, they wanted to pull a twist. They gave us a regular girl season, and they gave us a regular boy season, and then they gave us the Produce 48. And now they're giving us this one where X, the 11th member. It's gonna be a mystery. It's gonna be a mystery. So we'll see how that goes. After that explanation, he invites the trainers in. So we have Lee Seok-hun. He was on season 2. He was kind of scary. He's like a no funny business type of man. And then Shin Yumi, she was also on season 2. So those are vocals. And then for dancing, on the Wikipedia page, it says Bae Yoonjung is on this season again, but they didn't show her here, so she probably just wasn't there. And then we have Kwon Jae-sung. He was on season 2. Was he on season 3? I don't think he was on season 3. But Kwon Jae-sung, he also is kind of a scary person, but he's back. And then from season 3, we have that Choi Young-jun guy. He did some choreographing for 101 and some other groups, and I think he's really cute. But that doesn't mean much. And then Cheetah is the one and only designated produce or rap coach since the beginning. So she's back. She's here to stay. Cheetah, this is Cheetah's new job. She's just going to be on the produce season for the rest of her life. And then Soyu from Sistar was a guest judge. So that was cute. So they basically said, you're going to get graded. Obviously, so they were like A, B, C, D, and this time they didn't mention any F. They just said A, B, C, D, and then they said X. So X ranking, basically, they was being all scary and was like, if you get an X, you're not going to be admitted into the training center. But we all know they get past it to go to the next challenge, which is like the songs. That was like we all saw on Twitter like months ago. So we'll see what they have to do to get into the training center, because there is people that got X's on the show so far. So now we move on to the evaluations. These are the first evaluations. As you know, Produce 101, they always give 2 evaluations. So this is the first one. And then after they learn the Chima song, they will do another evaluation and either move up in the ranks, stay in the ranks, or move down in the ranks. So that's what it is. So the first people we get seen are Source Music, and they do Coco Bop by EXO. So when they were like giving their little talks and stuff, I definitely felt like the one Source Music member, Kim Hyunbin, he definitely seemed to be like the one that was in charge of everything. I don't know, he just seemed like very leader-esque. And then they like panned over to DSP, because DSP Media, they also were gonna do Coco Bop. So it was 2 Coco Bop performances. So they showed Source Music, and the dancing was really strong for that performance, but the vocals, there was some very iffy parts in the vocals, especially when the one guy was doing the it was real pitchy. It was real pitchy. And then so the Source Music trainees, they all got D's. And then DSP, Song Dongpyo, he's the center for the Gma performance. He was very cute. He's very cute, very bubbly, and very determined. DSP, they all sounded very strong. And then after the Coco Bop performance, they're like, Dongpyo, do a little more dancing. So he did a dance to Boom Boom. And in the end, Dongpyo and then the other guy, Ihwan, they got B's, and then Junhyuk got a C. I don't know these people like that. I just wrote their names down as I saw it coming on the screen. So that was that. And then we saw Starship, and they performed Oh Little Girl. They came out. Okay. Usually Starship has very strong performances. They've managed to do very well on the shows. This time around, I don't know if they were just extremely nervous or they just weren't well prepared. But the Starship trainees, it was a really rough and rocky performance. The rapper, you could not make out what he was saying. It was like very mumbled, very jumbled. I don't even know. I think he might have made a mistake or something, but it was bad. It was bad. It was a very lackluster performance. Excuse me, my nose. I need to blow it. So the performance was really bad, really lackluster. The edit that Mnet gave them, they were basically like crickets, shocked faces, upset faces, disappointed. Like that was a bad performance. Um, and then they were like, okay, so they were gonna give some trainees a chance to do like a dance, like kind of redeem yourself. So they asked the guy with the satori to do a dance, and he stuttered over his words, was really shy, and they're just like, bruh, do you want to do another dance or not? And he was like, it was whatever. And then so they were like, forget it. They basically were like, forget it, moving on. So I was really embarrassed. It was bad. It was a pretty shitty performance. So in the end, Ham Wonjin and then Moon Hyun Bin got D's, and then the rest got X's. And so they were the first people to get X's that we've seen, that they showed us. And I was like, ugh. Yikes. And then they showed some other trainees. So then they had this like segment where it was trainees that had only been training for a few months. So Maru came out onto the stage, and then they performed Replay, and the performance was pretty bad. So that was bad. And then some other guys came out onto the stage. Someone did mic drop. He got an X. I don't remember what the other one did, but he got an X as well. And then the We Entertainment guy, he came out, Kim Yohan, and he'd only been training for 3 months, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, we know how this is gonna go. Little did they know. So he performed a song by Seven, where in the original he was dancing with the Heelys one. So he came and did the dance with the Heelys. That was his like gimmick, and everyone was like, oh, this is cute. He is a taekwondo person, nationally ranked in like the juniors or something. But they were really impressed with Kim Yohan, and they were like, we'll see if you can handle it. They gave him an A. So, and obviously from what we've seen in the individual cams for the Chimon performers that they released, we all know who eventually ended up with the A's and who didn't. We know who the A's were because they had that thing on YouTube where they're like, help us vote for who should be the censor. So we know who the A's are. I just don't remember at the very moment, but as of this time, they gave him an A. And then the next thing was Sidus HQ, some guy named Sunho. And so he was like, I know him because they were trainees together on Starship. And then Jae-sung was like, I know him too because I all that in the third. He's an actor. He definitely had an actor face. He sounded very stable, and he definitely was very prepared. I really thought he was gonna get an A, but the people were like, no, we're gonna give you a B. I really feel like he should have gotten an A, but that's just my opinion. So he really has big dreams of becoming an idol. Like, that's what he wanted to do. He just did acting because he felt like he couldn't get nowhere with being an idol. And he got into some, like, major roles or something. So, he got a B. And then Dongbin came out. We all know him, chewing gum, crying. And everyone was like, oh. And he looked a little nervous. And I was like, boy, you've had time to prepare and hone your skills. No more tears left to cry, boo. But he performed Chewing Gum, and this time around, he was like not nervous. He was hitting it. He was dancing. He was singing. He was doing it. And I was like, is this the same boy that cried like every damn episode? Oh my gosh. And then he did and then he switched to Shinhwa's Perfect Man, and he did more dancing, and everyone was like, you are so much more confident. Thank goodness. So he got a B, and I felt like that was very well deserved. His vocals were not amazing, but he did the damn thing. So Dongbin, congratulations. And then we got this guy Kwon Taeun. All they were like, oh, he looks like a model. He's strutting like a model, and then his face was like really smiley, and I was just like, the smile is not that. This probably sounds harsh, but his smile, it was like really intense, and I was just like, this is not a cute, happy smile. This is like a creepy, I'm here to stalk you, bitch smile. I was not feeling his smile. But he sat on the ground and he did Sunny's Siren, and like he was doing the little crawl part, and he had this smile on his face, and I was like, boy, you look crazy. I just really thought his performance was cringy. Everyone was like kind of chuckling, laughing, all that in a third. No. I felt really embarrassed for him because it was bad. And then everyone was like, ah. But then the vocal trainer, Silk-kun, he was like, what the fuck? That was basically his thing. He was pissed. He looked pissed at the performance. And I was like, boy, you and me, man, we's here together because I was not amused with that performance. I was not amused with the siren performance. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. Like, the vocals was really bad. So he got an X, and I feel like he deserves it. He deserves it. Just because he smiled and was all like, hey, that don't mean you got the talents. And clearly he don't got the talents. At least from what we've seen. So then they moved on to brand new music, and then they was like, okay, there's a lot of people that have made their own songs this year because the AAPY guys made their own song. I liked the song. That was a cute little song. And then Yuheiwa, they also did a song. So they did original songs. We don't know the rankings of those ones, but we do know the rankings of brand new music because they spent more time on them. Everyone was like, ooh, brand new music. Everyone for brand new music, they're like high expectations. They're like, they're gonna do amazing. Will they though? So they were on stage in front of everybody getting ready, and then all we could hear was just like breathing, and I was like, who is breathing that loud? Damn, like, do you have asthma? Are you nervous? Like, he was breathing. He was like I was like, oh my gosh, he is breathing. It was like it was a lot of breathing. So they talked, they showed them in the training thing and all that, this, that, and the third. This is, I don't know, one thing I noticed. So one of them was real confident in all the interviews. That was like, I hope we do better than the people from season 2, so we don't get compared to them. I don't remember who that was, but he was wearing the cardigan as his like shirt. He was like real confident, and then when it got time to like wait to go onto stage, he was like, oh, because you're really nervous. I don't know. He was just doing too much for me. He was talking too much. It wasn't amusing, and I was just getting really irritated. I was like, boy, you're irritating me. I'm sorry. He probably is a nice person, but how they edited him, it just get me kind of irritated because it looked like he was doing a lot of talking. He was trying to do a lot of leading, and I was just like, boy, you need to shush. Anyways, they did a live song called Gotta Get Her or something, and it was strong. Like, I don't know what the criteria is over a brand new to accept these trainees. Like, I don't know if they like the criteria. You have to be like top notch, bitch, I'm ready to debut level or something, because they did the damn thing. They were so strong. Choreography was like crisp, in sync. Vocals was on point. Hold me with that high note. It was so good. I was like, oh, his high note was amazing. So they were really good, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, they might just get all A's. No, they didn't get all A's. They had 2 A's and 2 B's, just like season 2. So they did that, but their performance, brand new's performance, was amazing. They did it. They delivered quality. They delivered talent. That was a good performance. And then we're reaching towards the end. So then it was MBK, and they were talking about how when they looked at these like little intro videos, they were like, oh yeah, we remember him because he was like rapping. He was going in on the rap. Turns out he's only like 16 or something. He was young as fuck. So it was fierce. And they were like, we're going to save our agency or something like that. They did Roly Poly and Boomerang. It was an okay performance. Yeah. So in the end, the young guy that did the rapping, he got an A. And then the other 2 got a C and a D. But the A, I remember because I watched the video because I kind of liked Lee Hong-kyo. I kind of like him. He did the Don't Drop the Fruit video with the rapper. And they like dropped the apple and they ended up like kissing each other unintentionally on the lips. And I was like, we love a good gay. We love some gay shit. So that's what I remember of the fierce rapper. I didn't know he was a rapper because we didn't know his talents, or maybe he did it in his video or something. But It was what it was. But he was a fierce rapper and he was young. So after that, they were like doing this and all that, and then people saw backstage. It was Music Works, and Song Yubin, he was doing his vocal warm ups, and he was like crazy with the notes, and everyone was like, "Who is singing?" So he was on Superstar K, made it pretty far into the show. My Teen, he debuted in My Teen. So they did Spring Day, and their performance was really good. They had very strong vocals, like Yubin, and then they switched it up after Spring Day. They did some other dancing, and they were both killing it with the dancing. These Music Work trainees were just really talented, and I was feeling it. So in the end, both of them got A's, and that's pretty much where the episode ended. So the episode ended there, sort of. Because then they were like, individual trainee, Sky Castle, Eugene. And they're like, to be continued. And then they're like, YG. To be continued. But they, we heard the intro to the YG performance. YG, they're gonna do Good Boy. And then JYP, they were also like, to be continued, JYP versus YG. And I was like, if this is one of the oldest rivalries in the motherfucking book. Anyways, so that's what happened. And they're basically just like, wait till next week to see what they do. But we already know I don't know what they did for this performance, but they ended up sucking somewhere along the way because we saw the performances. The individual cams for Chima. Spoiler. Homie from YG, that's the Chinese one, he got an X. Or he got something, because he was on the bottom of the stage with no microphone. Same with the JYP. So that just shows that just because you're from the big three doesn't mean you're automatically talented in the eyes of the trainers. So that's what happened. So they were like that. And then he was like, Idong basically ended this thing with whoever sits in the first seat gets a special 1 minute PR video. So we got to see the JYP guys video, and I was just like, this is cute, I suppose. Moving on. So then that was the end of the episode, and then they talked about the rankings. So the voting is open and the rankings have started. So I tuned out most of it, but anyways, number one, so the person that's ranked number one so far is the jellyfish, Kim Mingyu, and that makes me really happy because I really like him. He probably ain't got no talent because from his little PR video that we saw in the beginning, you know, but I like him. He struck my fancy. And then we got number two. So the person that's ranked number two is Starship Koo Jung Mo, and he got an X. So clearly people are liking him for the face and whatever he did in his videos. So we'll see if he continues to rank real high up. A lot of the Starship trainees got a lot of buzz. A lot of the Starship trainees were very highly ranked. Let me go on to the Twitter so I can give a more rundown version of who ranked where the chips slide. So let's see, because I know it's here. Okay, so it's Kim Mingyu, Koo Jung Mo, and then number three was Yohan. So Yohan, and then it was number four, Cha Juno from Woolin. Y'all know he got a lot of buzz because everyone's like, oh boy, he looked like Myungsoo. And I was like, I suppose. And then after that, it is Wooseok, Top Media, Wooshin, and then Song Dongpyo. Very interesting that he's not ranked higher because usually in the beginning, like the center guy is usually ranked pretty high, but he's 6. And then Sky Castle, Eugene is number 7. Sejin from IME Korea, I don't know who he is, but he's number 9. 8, Song Hyungjin from Starship. He was the one with the Satsuri that was real. Boy, you better put your panties on and grow the fuck up. And then Lee Jinwoo from Maru. Do I know him? Anyways, so that was the top 10s. And then we'll just go to the 20th place. So 11 was Kong Min-hee Starship. He got an X. He got an X. Then it was Yusobin JYP, Hwang Yunsung 13 Woolim, E Unsong Brand New Music. He was the one that was breathing hella loud. So he's number 14. Number 15 is Kim Dong-yoon from Woolim. 16 is Han Ki-chan from Fantagio. 17 is Song Yoo-bin from Music Works. Boy, you need to be getting higher up in the rankings. And then it was Kim Dong-bin at number 18. And then Ham Wonjin at Starship for 19, which means all of the Starship trainees ranked in the top 20 except for Moon Hyun-bin, which makes me sad. And then Choi Byung-chan from Victon ranked at number 20. Moon Hyun-bin, he got number 27. And honestly, get that bitch, rank him up higher. Moon Hyun-bin is the most talented one out of those motherfucking trainees because in his PR video, he was sounding really good. And we all know when they released those Help Us Choose the Center, he was in an A, just like Han Wonjin, so they got 2 A's. So just because they had a really bad performance that we saw so far, and we're like, ooh, these Starship trainees suck. No, 2 of them actually made it and got into the A class, so that is all groovy. This, that, and the third. So that is basically it. So real quick, I'll talk about who struck my fancy from all these promotional videos, all these little random games. So they did the hidden box. They did something where they was on a bouncing ball and they had to bounce over some bottles of tea. They did eye contact. They did the don't drop that fruit. That was fucking hard. They had to have an apple between 2 people and then like had to roll it down, but they couldn't drop it. They also did that cookie hat thing. Was there another thing they did? No, I think that's it. But anyways, that was all the stuff that they showed us prior. So let's break down the who's. So my favorite that stuck out to me the most was way back when they announced the A trainees to dance for the center position on YouTube. And I was like, I saw from a distance, like, who that be? So Moon Hyun-bin from Starship. I was really feeling him, and then I saw his videos, and I was like, yeah, we here, man, we here. So Moon Hyun-bin is one of my favorites. He is my favorite overall so far. I have 3 favorites because I feel like if I have at least 3 favorites, one of them probably gonna get in the group, I suppose. So Moon Hyun-bin from Starship is my favorite. He's my pick. If I could vote, I'd be voting for him. The only thing that us international fans can do is help get them those little cheesy prizes, you know, those little side votes. So if you go to dear101.com, you can do some little voting. It's not to secure them a place on the group. It's just to give them some prizes, you know. That's all we can do to support. But Moon Hyun-bin is my favorite. He's my favorite, followed by Kim Min-gyu. So Kim Min-gyu, if you didn't know, he was the last trainee they showed in the Gma performance when they had little piano and everyone was doing their little like to the camera, you know. He was the last one shown, and like visuals, he basically got the Woojin, the Jihoon spot, like when Jihoon did the wink and everyone was like, this is obviously. This is pretty much Mingyu. He gonna be the one that's going to do that because they showed at the end, and I guess people in Korea is really feeling my boy Kim Mingyu, so I'm happy for that. Kim Mingyu is my second pick, and then Cha Jun-ho from Woolim is my third favorite because I don't know, I just like him. If you know me though, like if you know me, you shouldn't be surprised that Mingyu or Cha Jun-ho would be people I would be gravitated to. Duh! Have you seen my bias list? Anyways, so those are my top 3. Moon Hyun-bin, Cha Jun-ho, and Kim Mingyu. And then other people that I really was feeling from these videos. Song Yoo-bin, he is really good. I like him. Song Yoo-bin, I like all the Woolim trainees. I just want to protect them and save them. So all the Woolim trainees are in my faves. I also liked Koo Jung-mo because I thought he was cute, but we'll see about these talents. Who else? The Nest guy, Osebum. Yeah, I took a picture with him in Hongdae like 2 years ago. I like him. Stephen Kim from Australia. I was feeling him in his videos, so I like him. I also like the Source Music guy, Kim Hyunbin. So he stuck out to me. Hongkyo from MBK, he stuck out to me. Who the Somebody tried to call me. Are we back? Girl, okay. We're gonna end this soon because it's starting to piss me off. I got a phone call. That shit fucked up the flow. Anyways, so like I said, I'm also feeling Song Dong Pyo. He was giving me some good energy in his videos. He was really cute. He gives me Davey vibes. Take that as you may. I think that's everybody. That is everybody I'm feeling. So we don't know how Stephen Kim did. We don't know what the grade was for Lee Hong Kyul. We don't know the grade for Osebum, but pretty much, and we don't know the grade for Woolams yet, but we do know what they got eventually, though. Some of them did bad. Some of the Woolams weren't on the stage with the headset, so we know that they failed. But that is not part of this episode. So there was a lot. Watching an episode for anything that is 2 hours and 30 minutes, boy. The last time I watched something that freaking long was when I was watching those damn parts to the Surviving R. Kelly documentary. Produce 101 is draining. But I'm excited to see how this season goes. Obviously. I hope for the best for all the people I'm rooting for. If I had a Korean phone number, I would be voting like this because, duh. I can't trust Korea's opinions to put the people that really deserve to be in the group into the group. Because, you know, Korea loves a good face, not a good talent. So we'll see. Meanwhile, I said that Kim Mingyu is one of my favorites, and we don't know if he's even talented or not. Anyways, that is what it is. So leave in the comments who your favorite trainees are so far, what you thought of the episode. Did anything piss you off? Is Mnet being a little bitch? Yes, they are. Like, discuss. What are your opinions? What are your thoughts? What performances did you like? What performances do you think were really bad? And we'll just discuss. So, like I said, I'm rooting for Moon Hyunbin, Kim Mingyu, and Cha Junho. And Korea, god damn it, y'all better be voting for them too. Obviously, you like Moon Jun. You obviously Korea likes Cha Junho and Kim Mingyu because duh. But y'all better start stepping it up for my boy Moon Hyunbin because from when he did his little PR video, I peeped voice. So I feel like he was just nervous and he's gonna shine. He's gonna shine and show you all that. Yeah, bitch, they gave me a D at the very beginning, but I came through slaying and got an A. So that's what it is. Also from those videos that were released prior, Wooseok and Wei, and then the two guys from Victon, they all four of them got A's. So, came through slaying. That's what it is. We'll see what their original rankings were. So we'll see you all on the next video. There was some Twitter post that I saw that was like, these are the trainees that Korea is most talking about. We'll see. I don't remember who was on that, but people that was on it was Kim Mingyu, Cha Junho, Gu Jungmo. The face ones. The ones that gave the face, because we don't know the talents yet. We'll see what happens. Anything can change. As solid as the rankings were for Produce 1, Season 1, the rankings for Produce 101 Season 2 and Produce 48 were a roller coaster. So honestly, there is no expecting. You may think your trainee is safe one day, and then the next day, they might have fallen 20 ranks. You never know. Like, you never know. I feel like Wei and Wooseok is going to definitely become some stars on this show because I feel like they're here and they're determined. They're determined. But like I said, Korea, don't think anyone is safe. Just because someone is ranking high consistently for the first few episodes doesn't mean they're going to continue ranking high at the very end. Because when it gets to the final episode, people are going to be real desperate to get in these votes. And people are going to fall down and people are going to go up. So nobody is safe. The episodes have just begun and it's, nobody is safe. By episode 5, everyone that got ranked in the top 10 this week could be going home. You never know. So it's just like, keep an eye out because you got to keep voting or else your fave is going to slip away. So that's what it is. Yes. So that is all I have to say. That was my recap review of Produce X 101 episode 1. I'm excited to see what happens next. I'm just ready. I'm ready for the bullshit. No one's gonna make me cry this season unless they come through with a real big sob story that really cuts to my spirits. But as of right now, everyone's sob story that they revealed so far was pretty much standard shit. I've been training for years upon years and I can't make a break. Okay, well, if you're talented enough, it could be just bad luck or you're just not meant to be an idol. We'll see what happens. I'll see you later. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's discuss. Bye. Oops. There we go.